Well, hi there, folks. It's your old Uncle Rudros here for another RVA recap. This time celebrating 200 weeks of RVA Returners tournaments on Octagon. What a wonderful accomplishment for John and the boys. And as always, if you have not seen their stuff or watched any of their stuff, I will put the links in the description below. I always say this, but I feel it's always true that it's hard to believe you know about my channel and my content and not theirs, but I will, of course, link it in case you're interested. Yeah, so if anyone has been following my channel, I used to play in these pretty frequently for season, I think it was 10. I actually got a perfect attendance award because I was there every week, and I made first place in that season as well, tied with Muhammad for it. And then I just decided to take a break. One, I kind of just, again, don't enjoy playing the game personally as much as I used to, but I honestly also just wanted a break from it, having that commitment every Wednesday. It was nice to take some time off. So this season's been in full swing. I haven't played, however, it was week number 200, and I always told myself when I did quit after that season, I was like, I'll probably come back for the 200 special, especially since it was only going to be 8 or 10 weeks away. And then John put up this Magicite trophy for the person who won as well, so I was like, ooh, okay, yeah, I really want to compete for that because I love FF6. Excuse me. And I love Magicite and these little Magicite trophies that John gave out at one of the returner events that they hosted some time ago. Looks so cool, and I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta try and play tonight because I want to try and get that trophy. So we played, what did we play? We played category 13. In particular, I took a Steve Dolman of the YYT. I took his list from Paris. Granted, most of the 13 lists are relatively similar. You might change a few summons here or there, or maybe a couple ratios, but I don't think there's this vast difference between, his list or any others. But yes, I specifically took his list, which I can link in the description below as well. Because my goal was, one, I hadn't done this in a while, and my girlfriend was like, well, do you want to play some board games tonight or something? I said, well, you know what, I do want to participate in number 200. I want a chance for the trophy, so let's just try it. And if I lose, I lose, no big deal. I can just go on with my evening. But I figured 13 would be nice because it's just quick, right? Even if I win or lose, it's going to be a quick match in and out. And I kind of had this sneaking suspicion too that people just wouldn't be ready for it. Not ready for it, right? You're always kind of ready for 13, but just that it wasn't what people had feared, or it wasn't what they were expecting. Because I've still tried to watch some of the Twitch replays of these to catch up. Hey, just see how the weeklies went, and it seems like there's a lot of Chaos Arc and Warrior of Light that you would expect. And so what was funny is I was actually originally going to take Mono Water, or specifically the Mono Water Earth list from Australia, but those lists hadn't been posted yet. And so I was like, well, yeah, let's just do 13. That'll be quicker. So we did 13. So this is the second match of the evening. The first match I went against Matt's Ice Earth list. This is very different from a tournament winning list. He really went in on Remedy and Sid Randall and just these ways to kind of punish whatever it is you're doing. He had he had Dark Emperor in there, as well as another Emperor that searches out and plays Dark Emperor. Yeah, very much like a stop that kind of list. But we were able to take that one. So here's round 2. Now, by the time they jumped into this game, again, I'm playing 13, so I'm just like, let's go, 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 go. I believe I went second, and I'm playing against Ryan Chen, Viridian Z there, and I believe he had an awful opening. So let me catch you up to speed. So turn 1, he got to go first. I'm assuming he mulliganed, and legit, he just went to his end phase, discarded a card, and passed. He discarded, I think, a Braska. The summoner forward Braska that lets you discard summons for it. So, and given the other colors I've seen in here, and it's a summoners list, my only guess is that he either, the only backup he had was Shantoto, or he was color locked or something. So he just discards and pass, which I'm like, oh, okay, good for me. And I believe I did Hope, Vanille, Fang in whatever combination. It might have been Hope into Fang into Vanille, or Fang into Hope into Vanille. But either way, I know I got out Fang, Vanille, Hope on my first turn. Of course, searched out the Lightning, so I just kept that in hand. And then on his next turn, he just pitched, of course, 4 cards, slapped down Shantoto, immediately removed them all. And so on my next turn, I played Lightning, attacked, hit Une into damage, passed to him. I'm pretty sure he played Rydia after that. I think he played Rydia, searched out the Len, and then played the Len. And then I think I hit him again with Lightning just let my hand build up. So that's kind of where we're catching up in the match is, again, he has Shantoto'd already. He did wipe out 3 of my big forwards turn 1, but I'm like, well, let's just start chipping away at him and see how it goes. So I'll start the match. Yeah, and then, so after I hit with the lightning, I put down, I want to say Sarah because she looks like Sarah, but no, it's her like evil doppelganger. Lumina, that's her name. Lumina. So obviously I threw out Ramu and Phoenix, had a lot of summons. A little hesitant to get rid of the Phoenix, but again, I don't need to get a backup, but I need to get another threat, right? So I go get Hope, knowing Hope will let me search out whatever I want. Pass back to him. He's got 3 in hand. I know he hecatons at some point. And he hecatons like just, I think it might be just this board state. So he taps 3, he pitches something, and he casts Hecaton Kyre. My assumption being that he just had nothing better to do. I don't think he would waste Hecaton on a single lightning, knowing he can get so many of my forwards. So presumably he's just got nothing to do hand-wise. Like he either doesn't have more backups to put out or no forward that would mean anything. So, but I'm like, yeah, it kind of sucks to lose the lightning, but not a huge deal. I'm pretty happy he wants to pay 5 for that. Throw out the Ishtola for the Hope, and now, again, the last turn I was kind of wondering, hey, what should I go get with the Hope? Well, makes it very easy now. Just go get the lightning and pass back to him. I'm feeling okay. I have to admit, going into this, I thought, I'm probably going to lose this. If he's playing this Earth, like, this just got so many sweepers, Shantoto, Hecaton, etc. But especially with the bad start, I'm like, okay, you know what? Let's just keep plugging away and see what happens. He just plays Zidane. Again, I'm guessing he doesn't have much else better to play. Takes a Null, which only sucks for me in the sense that, like, oh, I'd love to see Null, but Null doesn't do a lot for him. Obviously, it's a haster if he ever gets to that point, but for now, I think it's just he wanted a body and was hoping to steal something useful. So it comes back to me. I'm kind of scouting. He's got a Len up, but there's not a whole lot of summons I fear on his turn, on my turn, other than maybe Mist Dragon. So I'm like, well, you know what? We can at least get in another point of damage, draw a card. Send in lightning first. I always try to do that just in case there's a punishing EX burst. That way lightning, he's got to choose between the lightning effect and getting another point of damage in. He immediately snap blocks with Zidane, which, tells me he just put it out there because he legit had nothing better to do and he's trying to prevent a point of damage. So I'm happy to just attack. I get to draw one off the lightning. And he goes right into, I think he goes for Tyro, if I'm not mistaken here. But yeah, and I've still got 3. He goes for Garnet, that's right. Yeah, he goes for Garnet. He gets back which of course gets back a summon. This insta-kills the lightning. I have no counter to this. I don't think I have an Amaterasu in hand. Otherwise, obviously, I could have used that, but... And as much as I hate to see it, I was like, well, lightning's gone. But I think I have either another Phoenix or like a Reeve in hand. Like, I know I'm kind of like, I feel like I have a way to get that lightning back, so I'm not too worried about it. Or I may have drawn another one. So he passes back to me. What I do know I have here is a Seymour. And I'm thinking, well, it's not lightning, but he's only got 3 in hand. I can Seymour and kill this Garnet. He could Mist Dragon it, but he'd have to dump his entire hand for that. So because I've got plenty of summons in the break zone. So drop Seymour, pop Garnet out of the way, attack with Hope, hits another backup into damage, his second buddy. And I actually feel okay right now because I have enough summons for Seymour to use his instant damage effect, and Ryan knows that too. So it's like, you got to be a little careful here because I only need to hit you twice, and then Seymour can just finish you off. So here he goes, uses Tyro. And this is where something I wasn't expecting to see. He searches out Zidane, but he has no intention of playing Zidane. He then pitches Zidane and one other card to pay 6 for Pain. For those of you who don't know, Pain, when she enters the field, I believe you choose a forward opponent controls, and you deal at 7,000 damage, or you deal at 10,000 if it's multi-element. And then it removes it from the game. So, interesting thing here, I take a moment because what I have in hand is exactly Phoenix and Belias. And so I check with him, okay, that does 7, right? And he's like, yep, it does 7. And I was like, okay. And I'm thinking, I could save Seymour with Belias, and then this Pain would essentially do nothing. However, I ultimately do decide to let it go. And my thought process being like, well, as much as I would love to get that direct damage, I count the summons in my break zone. I would have only had enough for one. It would have taken a very long time to get another 6 summons to use Seymour again. And I'm thinking, well, and I've got to pitch my hand. I was like, or if I hold on to this, I get to hold on to the Phoenix, and the Phoenix might be my way to kind of sneak in, the lightning or something else. And I'm thinking next turn, he has nothing to hand. I could just swing in with my Hope, and he's either got to let me put him to 5, which is, of course, always risky with a 13 deck, or if he blocks, I just, bloop, Belias, get another draw and beat it. So ultimately, I do let the Seymour go. Draw for turn. I think I actually drew a second Belias, if I'm not mistaken. So just seeing like, okay, well, let's just keep putting on the pressure, right? I just swing in straight with the Hope. And so he's got to think, okay, he either has a trick or he's trying to bluff me. Maybe he's going to put down another Hope. But he does decide, I'll spoil a little bit, he does decide to block with the Pain, realizing, well, if you got a trick, do it. Otherwise, yeah, go ahead, replay Hope. What do I really care? Which I think is the right call there. And then, of course, I throw out Mr. Belias, give Hope 1,000 power, haste first strike, and draw a card. So he will take out Pain and lives. Yeah, I drew a Zaz. So I threw a Zaz out there. And then here I'm just kind of content because I think I have Lightning in hand. But again, I'm like, you know what? I think we're just patient, or I've got some way to get access to Lightning, whether it's Lightning herself or it's what's it called, Reeve. So he plays Riku, as you can see, off of 2 backups. Then he puts down Null. My own Null, again, pretty sure he's just doing this for a body. I don't know what the last card in his hand is, but I'm presuming if it was better than Null, he would have jammed it out there. So he just puts Null. Again, Null doesn't really do anything for him, but it just gives him another blocker. And now here's the fun part. I have Lightning and Phoenix in hand, and you can't see my break zone, so there, I put out Lightning, of course. So Lightning on her own is threatening 2 damage if he doesn't block, right? I'll put him to 5 and then 6. And then in theory, if I could get someone else out there. Now, I have Phoenix in hand, but I actually have no targets for Phoenix, I guess, other than the Zaz, but the Zaz doesn't have haste. So in my head, I'm kind of going, ooh, I hope he blocks with the Null. And sure enough, he does, which ultimately end up going to be his undoing. So he blocks with Null, Null being my forward. It goes to my break zone. Attack with Hope. It's the second attack. I get to draw a card. I do hit a EX burst here, which is a Kusith. He goes to get Warrior of Light, which would be absolutely huge if he could do it on his next turn. But I'm not going to give him that. Pitch Fang, pitch Odin, resurrect the Null, which has haste, can attack immediately, and it's the third 13 character attacking this turn. So that's a lightning damage and damage for game. We'll take it, baby. 13 doing 13 things, eh? Yeah, so if he hadn't blocked with the Null there, I don't think there was anything else I could have done that turn. He would have, trying to think. Yeah, if he would have gone to 6 and he would have kept the Null. And then he would have gotten, obviously, Warrior Light on his turn. Who's to say where the game would have gone for there? At that point, you're on damage 6. I just need any removal. I need Odin's, Ishtola, anything to just push over this thing, and then boom, I'm going to finish him off. So even if he hadn't blocked with the Null there and I'd put him to 6, I'd like to think I'm so close that I still could have pushed forward. Of course, I can't say that with 100% certainty. Warrior of Light can be a huge problem, so maybe it would have been enough to stabilize. I do have things like Bahamut to get rid of the Warrior of Light as well. So, and again, that deck has a lot of Odins in it to deal with Warrior of Light. So, yeah, but anyway, nice, quick game, which is what I expected to. So I'm 2-0, and I think there's only 3 rounds on this evening. And so I'm like, oh, shoot, I'm going to the finals. All right, not bad. So, yeah, well, let's see what happens in the finals. So here we are back for the final round against Anthony Apigio. This man is no slouch either. He won a store championship recently. I know that, and congrats to you, dude, for doing that. And I heard him tell John that, like, he... the RVA practice really helped him prepare for that. So good on you, man. That's really awesome. Now this is for the first time in this evening, I actually win the die roll. I've gone second every other match, but I go first. I don't remember if I mulliganed or not, but I know I had Hope in my opening hand, and I also already have a light lightning in hand, if I'm not mistaken. Or no, I'm thinking of a different game. No, but so I go get what I have is Vanille. I have 2 Vanilles in hand. With the Hope. So pretty darn good opening. And because of that, I'm like, you know what? Maybe the play here isn't to just do standard Hope, Vanille, Lightning, go. What if I put out Fang? Again, if I run into a Shantoto, it kind of sucks for me, but I don't lose the Lightning from that. And obviously a Hecaton could blow me out. But the upside being, I'm threatening to put you to 6 on turn 2. And again, if anyone who knows this 13 deck, the moment you're on 6, I mean, it's so hard to not just die to a random Ishtola, Haste, or whatever out of nowhere for that, right? So I have Hope go search out Fang. Fang immediately uses her ability, so now I only have 2 Vanille left in hand, pitch the single Vanille, play the last Vanille, go get Lightning. You've got a 10k, 9k, 7k on board, and this will prove the power levels here will prove to matter. So luckily for me, he now takes a very long time on his turn trying to think of a way out of this, which is great, right? Because if he just had Shantoto, then he's just, all right, just ditch these cards, drop Toto, drop Hecaton, whatever. So that's good news for me when I hear him say, sorry, I need some time to think. I'm like, no, by all means, I get it. Like, take your time. And I'm inwardly thinking, okay, good. That means he doesn't have Toto or, again, some snap board wipe. So he takes a little time to think about it. We'll just skip ahead a little here. And as he's going to drop. So first thing he drops is this Reeve backup. And to go search out Vincent. And at first when I saw that, I was like, I thought I saw him on stream earlier or something where I thought he was playing Earth, and he pitched the Kuseth. So when I see the Vincent, I'm like, oh, is he getting Katesith? And I forgot that there's the backup Earth Vincent. And so I was like, wait, do I need to be threatened by this card? Well, at damage 3, he can dull it, put it in the break zone to deal something 7k. That's not irrelevant. He plays the Vincent, and he shoots Vanille for 5k. Which ultimately isn't going to lead to anything because he's going to pass here. He did say, oh, damn, I messed up. So I think there was something else he was thinking of, which we'll get to in a moment. Because you can see, if you saw it right down there in the bottom, he pitched a card for just a second. After he puts the Vince, he pitches, and then he's like, nope, actually take that back. I'm not going to do the thing I thought I was going to do. So he passes to me. All right, well, my game plan is incredibly simple, right? Discard the worst card in my hand for that Lightning. And here we go. You got something? Well, he does in fact have something. It'll cost his whole hand, but so he pitches what looks like a Puppet Master and a Tyro, puts out Ramu, and he can dull anything on this board, but the only thing he can remove is the Fang. So he ultimately, I think, ends up 7k'ing the Fang and dulling the Hope. So a few things. One, I didn't actually use Fang's ability to put Lightning out. It would have reduced her to 1, but again, with no backup, I'm still pitching a card from hand, so that just seemed meaningless. So on the stack of this, I just used the action ability anyway. I don't anticipate putting another 13 forward up. Why not? Might as well just use it. It's completely free. And what I think he thought the last turn, we didn't really discuss it much, but I'm assuming he was trying to do some combo of Vincent for 5k plus the Ramu for 7k, which, if the Fang wasn't buffing everyone, he could have done, right? He could have 5k'd the Fang and then 7k'd like Vanille, and then that would have gotten 2 things off the board. So let's say I just had Fang Vanille out there. That's what he could have done. But because I went all in on the big 3, that the buff was there, so that made a huge difference. So that really ended up saving me. And there was no combination he could have done, because again, the most he could have done is 7k'd the Fang, but then Vincent is just 5, which isn't enough to finish off Vanille or Hope. So given his situation, I think he did the right thing, and he definitely did the right thing waiting till my turn to Ramu, because if he'd Ramu'd on his turn, yeah, he still would have killed something, but the dull wouldn't have mattered. So he was wise to wait till my turn. So Fang's gonna go bye-bye, and Hope's going to go dull. However, presuming nothing goes wrong, it means I still get to put you on 2 points of damage. And I'm going to get to draw a card in the hand, which is always wonderful. And on top of that, Anthony has no cards in hand. So I'm just hoping, all right, well, as long as we don't hit any X-Burst, this should still be a totally good turn for me. So I think I send in Lightning first. It's Mist Dragon, no burst. Happy for that. Vanille, Chaos. Also happy for that. No burst. Draw a card. And I'm pretty sure I also have Amaterasu in hand. So I'm thinking, if I can get to next turn, I can, again, protect against some things. Not like a Hecaton, but I can protect against a Shantoto. And he's on 2 for turn, so he doesn't have a whole lot to do. So what he ends up doing is putting out Cisne. And just passing. He doesn't discard. I don't know what the card in hand was, but he doesn't discard it for Cisne's effect. Presumably, it's not relevant. For those of you who don't remember, Cisne, you can discard a card, special extra power if it's a Turk, but that's not really what it's here for. You basically deal damage based on the card's cost. So if you discard a Chaos, you'll shoot something for 11,000. You discard an Arc, you'll shoot something for 9,000. So, presumably the card in his hand, either it was so good he didn't want to get rid of it and tried to save it, or it wasn't going to be enough damage to take out any of these forwards. So Cisne just comes down. I think they say on commentary, too, that he could have left Vincent up to potentially wait till I put him to damage 3 to use his action effect. Although, if I sequence it right, spoiler alert, I'll sequence it right, Lightning would be out of range for that anyway. And this way he gets to hold a card in hand. So he does that. My turn's pretty simple. Again, unless I can get out Null or another attacker, it's just go to combat, swing away. Both the Vincent and the Cisne will get an effect damage 3. Cisne will get 2k and Brave, so I make sure to send Lightning in first. Buff everyone by 1,000. Although since he wasn't already on 3, it didn't. I could have really sent in anybody, but send in Hope, another 1,000, draw a card, go to 4 in hand, point of damage, send in Vanille. Another 1,000, draw a card, go to 5 in hand, or 6 in hand, yeah. Point of damage for Lightning, and then point of damage for the new Vanille, because he opts not to block with the Cisne. Hit an Arc for 5. Damage 6, he hits his first EX burst, and it's Reeve. And he's like, yeah, nothing, I don't have anything. I was like, what? I was like, yeah, there's no way you're running 1 copy of Vincent in there. We'll get to that in a second. So that's the setup, is that he hits a Reeve and he doesn't go search out a Vincent. And I'm like, really? You really only run 1 copy? That's kind of crazy. So I actually have a rare issue for a 13 deck. Look at that number right there. 6 in hand. Helps when you start with 4 for the turn and then draw 2 off of Lightning. So I'm like, oh, I'll have to discard down. I've got Lumina in hand. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll just, I'll put out Lumina. I'll go search Null. This way I've just got a Haster and just another 13 attacker. I'm under the hand limit, and just in case I need it, I've got a backup. You could also argue that I should search out another copy of Lightning. But I'm thinking I've still got Amaterasu in hand, and the way I paid for this too, I made sure I still had enough for Amaterasu. And Lightning, yeah, you could. It's the same thing, right? It's a Haster. This way, Null is CP, but you could absolutely make the argument that you could make an argument to go get another copy of Lightning, but I don't 100% remember what was in my hand, other than I knew I had Amaterasu, and I knew I had, again, a Haster for next turn. So he draws for turn and essentially concedes on the spot because he just reveals his hand. His hand was Hecaton Kyre, Vincent, and Arc. So he had another Vincent, but it was the 1 card left in his hand, making that burst meaningless. And the Arc bricked him this turn from using the Hecaton Kyre, because the most he can do is tap Reeve, pitch the Vincent, and that's not enough for the Hecaton. He can't use the Arc, can't use the Hecaton, can't use the Vincent. So he says, well, guess I should always go for your tiebreakers. So he goes ahead and pops me in for 1 point of damage, and then concedes his loss, and that's all she wrote. I mean, 13 doing 13 things, right? Going for the Unga Bunga aggro, and absolutely paid off. So I won Returners Hideout number 200. I know it says number 199 down there, but I promise you it is number 200. So I'll be getting that beautiful Magicite trophy along with any other prizes. Hooray! Oh, dude, it made me so happy. And it was kind of nice, too, to know that I hadn't lost my touch, you know. It's like, oh, you haven't played in a minute. Are you still any good? Yes, I can still hang with the best of them. At least I'd like to think so. And granted, I'm playing 13. It's not like there's some deep, intimate strategy for this, right? Slap down forwards, run into them. There you go. There's your strategy. If it makes him feel any better, I know he was a little bummed that, in case Anthony hears this, that he drew the Arc there. He's like, oh, it prevented me from doing the Hecaton. But even if he Hecatons there, let's see. I guess he still could have left up Vincent. I was going to say, because I could still put down Null next turn and haste in. So, like, let's say he drew just some other random card. He taps Reeve, pitch Vincent, pitch the other card, cast Hecaton. The entire board clears. I slap down Null next turn. He can Vincent to kill it, but then he now has no hand and 1 backup, and I would still have 4 in hand. I would still have 4 in hand, and I think I even had maybe a Phoenix at that point, or maybe not. I know I had Belias. And again, then you're on 6, and just any Ishtola or anything can finish you off. So while the Hecaton would have prolonged it a little bit, like I think he was just too far gone at that point that it would have mattered. So anyway, there you go. Cool. Another RVA weekly victory, and it was nice to do a little come out of retirement and be like, all right, yeah, look at this. Look at all Rudros. So 13, yeah, I mean, what a deck, right? Do you love it? You hate it? It's certainly the premier version of aggro, and man, when it works, it totally works and demands an answer. You got this right now? All right, well, that was the game. Thanks for coming. I know there wasn't as much to like talk about again in depth on this one because 13 is 13, but still wanted to show it, and it was nice. It was a fun moment, and thanks to RVA for hosting these again. Congrats on 200. All that. And yeah, I'm very curious to see where 13 will go in the next opus. Like, is this truly going to be a one opus wonder, or is it going to stick around? Like, unless something comes out that's even faster, which is hard to fathom, or something comes out that just super counters it. Like, surely you'll still have to kind of think about it or respect it in some level, right? I guess only time will tell. Anyway, that's the video. Thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. And until next time, take care.